All right, take 3 on this. Phone, my phone, my video camera, my flashlight, everything. The typical nowadays things. Keeps doing low power mode, all this other crap. The battery's getting low. I'm just trying to do a quick video. So this is take 3. You'll see that there are a couple zip ties already zipped up there. I'm just going to do the whole video over again and try to bear with me. It's a little frustrating for me, but probably less frustrating for you because it didn't happen to you. But you can understand. Okay, basically I got the 48 shot cake here. Don't mind the haze cake over there by Ganja. I'm just using that as a video camera stand or something to bring a little more height to it. But this this mortar rack is going to start from the right hand side. It's going to move its way this way. This is basically what I'm doing for fusing. There's many different ways to fuse a rack. I'll try to go through a couple of different ways really quick, and I'll go through a little demonstration on fuse cutting as well. But on this one I got quick fuse. This is gonna, it's gonna take about a second for a approximately 29 inch, you could say 30 inch fuse, about a second. And then you can see I've cut it, and you might wonder why I've done that. And I'm pretty precise on that when I say 29 inches, but for approximation 30, whatever. 29 inches exactly. Each strand. I'm going to do this all the way down this entire 48 shot rack. And in between, I'm going to cut out about a 3-inch, actually 4-inch slice of visco. And I'm going to overlap them by an inch or so. So 4 inches will turn into 2 inches, because that quick fuse will still continue burning down, and it'll take a couple, I don't know, maybe about a second and a half, 2 seconds in between each fuse going off to the next one. That way it gives time for these ones to go up, launch up, go off, then the next row, then the next row, then the next row, so on and so forth, going back and forth, alternating right and left, all the way down the entire cake. So you can pretty much say 48 rounds are going to go pretty quick in this. So it's going to be like a giant fan cake. But like I was demonstrating earlier, it didn't work out so hot for me. Try not to touch any buttons or anything on this. Try to angle this right, nice and neat, real quick. Okay, you can kind of see my red, white, and blue chair sitting over there. And I'm going to sit down on that real quick and explain a couple of things. Now, the first thing is I'm going to be lighting it from this end over here. And it's going to be burning this way, and that way, and this way, and that way, so on and so forth. And what we pretty much try to do, if you haven't done it, this one's already taped. So you can see process B. Barely see that side. Of course we... And we're going to take about, I don't know, I'd say close to an inch of the end of the canister shell. And we're going to tape that to this fuse in the same direction it's burning. So if it's burning from right to left, we want to put this fuse towards the right. And then the next row we'll do the same, but towards the left. All the way down, so on and so forth. Now, is what I'll do it real quick. I know I'm kind of skipping an area, and I really don't like to do that. I like to be very, keep myself very strict on how I do things. We're going to push this back a little bit. I know I'm kind of hanging over it, so we're going to get the second tube over here into the screen. Push this back. Bear with me for a moment so you can kind of see what I'm doing here. This is zoomed all the way in. Center it up. Alright, there we go. Now, obviously left to right on this row. Roughly take about an inch. You can take a little bit more. Make sure the canister shell's all the way down at the bottom when you're done. You can pick it up a little bit when you're initially taping it. And for video purposes, I will try in relation. Now see, I got that about quarter of an inch away from the edge, and I've done the same already on that first row on most of them, and I'm gonna tape that, try and tape that. It's not cooperating. Just having one of them days, I guess. To the edge of the shell, or the edge of the gun or the tube. I'm gonna make sure I fasten that real nice and neat, as neat as possible. Some of us do it better than others. The more practice you get, the better you get at it. And then we're gonna twist the end up on it so it's real nice and tight over here. There's not too much give in the bottom, in the shell. So we got that done, right? This is how I normally like to do it. I'm very particular about how I put my zip ties on there. But you want to do it towards the end of the burn to the shell that's in the canister tube. And I can see that kind of slid back, but and then at the front of the burn, some people do one, some people do two. I'm one of those guys that does two. And if I didn't do that backwards, I did too. Ay caramba. Hopefully my hat's not getting in the way. Turn it around just in case. Now, normally I wouldn't be hanging directly over the top of the fuse. That's why I have a, over the top of the mortar tube. Okay, that's one. Now I'll zoom back out. And I'll go through a few of these over here. Kind of give you an idea of how long it's going to be taking. And a lot of times I'll just take and do it as quick as possible. But like when you first start out, it might take a little bit of time, might seem a little tedious. But if we want that effect to go up, or we have an effect in mind, you gotta kind of put up with doing this. And it's the same if you want, like, even if I were to connect a, oh man, I can't even remember the name of it right now, like a quick match, one of the electronic devices up to each row of this, I could hook it up the same way, and with my I don't know why I call it quick match, Talon igniter clips for your Cobra system, whatever system you might be using. You can put a Talon on the right side, then a Talon on the left side, Talon on the right side, and have it wired to shoot the whole show all the way down. Or you could do individual rows with different fuse. Quick fuse is what I want for this cake because I want a certain effect. Now let me get back to what I was doing here so I can demonstrate a couple other things. Normally I would have already clipped those other zip ties, and you can see the reason why. So I don't want to pull too much slack out of that other row. And keeping a little tension on it, you also have a higher accuracy of keeping the distance in between each shell. I don't know if I can shut my mouth for a second and get this done. Being careful not to pull anything out of the place, fuse wise. Now this will take me quite a, I don't know, about 20-30 minutes to do once I'm actually not distracting myself with the video. I figure there's some guys out there might need a little extra help. Of course, I forgot my cutters, and these are, you can find these cutters just about anywhere. We got one end that's like a Teflon. I was actually going to go to fireworking.com, Ned Gorski's site. He's actually an extremely talented man that I am very impressed with his workshop, and I'm very impressed with his skills, and I've been recently kind of watching exactly how he does stuff, so I'd like to do it too. He has a shop on YouTube you can look at. You go fireworking.com. You can look up Ned Gorski, Nedgorski, and he has a few videos. You can see the first series, Fireworking 101, on that, and he teaches you how to make gerbs. Well, it starts out with safety, instructional. Then he basically can teach you how to make gerbs, which is a fountain, spolettes, piping, fuse. Fireworking.com, if you actually pay the $40, can't remember if it was for a year or what, but I paid it after I saw what he could do. And Chromatrope, he has a Chromatrope on episode 17, I believe it is, that is absolutely insane. And I mean, I've seen him before, but the one he builds out of the handbook, all the stuff he uses and talks about is available on his Fireworking 101 or fireworking.com site. And I was so impressed by the videos and everything, and I've heard of them before, that I actually never expressed too much desire in fabricating an actual shell or anything like that, but I've gotten into fireworks the longer I've been into fireworks, and I have been for a long time. As a kid, I used to experiment, and then watching those videos just kind of brought back childhood memories. And I was just like, you know what? I got to give it to him. He's an expert. He's been doing it for many years. You can see him. He's just recently at PGI putting together some absolutely insane ball shells, like 20-inch, 25-inch, something like that. Super huge ball shells. And he is very talented. He knows what he's talking about. And he teaches you a lot of the methods you need to know to better your fireworking skills. But I definitely have learned quick to idolize him, along with many others. But Ned Gorski, you can look up his name, and that's pretty much what I'm showing you now. I'll kind of swing it over, and I'll do these last two tubes, and I explain a little bit further. I'll give you I know what I wanted to do. I'll do these last two tubes. I'll show you the difference between this cut piece of canister shell fuse as compared. Actually, might be able to show you right here. Okay, this one's a ghost shell. So you can if you know anything about ghost shells, they're pretty. This one's a neon fusion. Been around since they came out. I've had quite a few of them. They're all right. But the ghost shells, I like them. I like the effect that they give. And if you buy a case, you can pair them up, quad them up, triple them up very easily. Become numbered, so even if you buy separate boxes, you can buy the same number, and you get like 2 1s, 2 2s per box. I think it's 1 through 12 per box, then something like that, and then 13 through 24. So you can pair them all up, all different effects, and they do add to your canister shells. Now, if you can see this, let me stand up here. You can see how much I've cut off, and that's quite a bit. I've cut about 4 inches off the end of that, just to where it was about maybe a ½ inch, probably a little bit more than that, hanging overhang. Now it's not. I got a piece of tape on my finger. You see it, number 7 right there. So I just have all these in chronologic order, because each one expressing a different. I usually like to pair the ghost shells up. Then we can see right here, about an inch. Got about an inch of space, just to clear the top of the tube. That is something I did want to demonstrate. You leave a long strip of fuse on there, and of course you know it's visco fuse, and it's going to take a little bit more time. If I can zoom in on this really quick. Now my hand's kind of blocking it. Slide this over just a hair. Hopefully you can see it. Once again, demonstrate. See, I can pick this up out of the tube a little bit. I'm going about a 1/4 inch away from the edge, inside edge of the tube, and then I'm using the tape like so, to where it meets the very edge of the tube. So we got a 1/4 inch of tape actually twisted up nicely, and then we try to keep the same timing. And you know what I just did? Oh boy, and I got it on video too. That's one to show the friends. So what we're gonna do now. Mistakes will happen. I will still show the video, but mistakes will happen. I'm gonna try to use something. That tape is pretty tough, and I just did a twist on it too. Now, what I don't like to do, especially with quick fuse, but mistakes will happen. I just proved that point in theory very well. Okay, tape. Nah, it's not going to cooperate. It's just going to stick to my thumbnail. Alright, there we go. It's kind of like pulling piping off. Well, the tape that they use inside cakes. Okay, now I just demonstrated mistakes will happen. I showed how very carefully you can be to pry the 2 pieces apart, although I don't recommend it, but if you have to do it, you have to do it. Now, once again, I'll go through this whole same process again. So you get to see the same thing twice. Awesome, huh? Okay, now I got a 1/4 inch from the inside edge to the tip of the fuse, the canister shell fuse. And I'm going to take the tape to the edge, very edge of the tube. I'm going to wrap it around here, flip it through, flip that end tight, flip that end tight, give it a little twist, nice little roll, and voila, we've got it fixed. And then we're going to take a zip tie on the inside most edge. Now everything is spaced nice and evenly again, and it's going the right direction. I've seen people, my brother too, even though I was teaching it to him how to do some of this stuff, do one the wrong direction, and he just, rather than to fix it, he put more zip ties on it. It worked, but I do recommend to have it functional and the right way. Just gotta make sure I get that tightened up a little bit, loosened up on me. So basically, let's see, we're still videoing on that edge, and we're at 20 minutes on videoing, huh? Shit. Way more than I wanted. Okay, one more. And we gotta cut this video down. Let's try to do it the right direction now, Chris. Come on, Pyrozig, get with it, right? Here, 1/4 inch. Especially 20 minutes to do one little section. Not to mention the technical difficulties I was going through earlier. 20 minutes, I should be halfway through this or more. So I've been doing this a little while, a couple days. No, I just learned yesterday, but no, just kidding. I try to make my videos short, no longer than 20 minutes. It's just hard sometimes. Now you could use pink fuse to do this, slow the burn down. It'd be like boom, 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 whatever, because it's got such a vast distance. Might be a little slower than you anticipate. So I suggest if you get mortar racks like this, which they'll be selling here at Red Apple Fireworks real soon, and they will be my racks. Thing is they won't be, you know, in Prump, Nevada, possibly Birmingham, Alabama, because you can already get the same or similar racks in Michigan. But I'm trying to do it at a better price for the West Coast over here, and I technically have the skills to do it. So yeah, they're supposed to release before next 4th of July at Red Apple and Prump. We're still going through some of the details. It isn't official quite yet. I mean, it is, but it isn't. We're still trying to work out some aspects to make it better pricing for you guys. And I'll keep you guys up to date. But like I said, if we can just bring this back just for another moment, getting back to the topic at hand, which is fusing. Now you can see pretty much, well, you can't see all four. I don't have wide angle lens on this sucker. Okay, now with fusing, there's two ways. Another way you can fuse this other than cross back and forth. You don't have to cut these fuses in pieces like this. You could just wind it back and forth, just having a turn at the end of each. And you could use the same fuse with a little bit longer. A pink fuse that works. You just have it hang off the sides a little bit more. That, you know, would give it a little burn time, a little delay. I'm actually using Visco. Now, I found with these, if you don't trim the fuses on your canister shells, and you're using just a double rack, a 24 rack, and you just basically go straight down the middle with the fuse and over the top of the board. I recommend going under the board. That way you don't scorch the top of your board with fuse. But you go through the middle, attaching them with the same direction as burn. You can do them together to where two go off at the same time. Or you could alternate them to where it's like boom, 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 all the way down, so on and so forth. Or both boom, 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 boom. Takes about 40 seconds, about exactly 40 seconds for pink fuse on one of these to go off if you do wire it and space it right. And it actually makes a really awesome finale, 24 shots. And you could actually, on the bigger section, now I'll try it because I barely got any room here. Now you can see both sections. You could do the same thing on both. If you have two 24 racks, you don't necessarily have to have a 48 like this. Two 24 racks can work just the same as this rack right here, and weigh far less. But you come down the middle of both, make sure you cut your fuses to the exact same length, bring them together down here, and then put a, attach a piece of visco to it so you have time to get away from it, and you could literally launch them off all together or alternating in a row, and it comes out really awesome. But those are a couple ideas. I'm approaching 20, actually at 25 minutes. I got to get this video cut short. Try to, but too late. But that's an idea for fusing, attaching the fuses, how to fix a mistake. I showed you the difference in in cutting. These are a particular brand of cutters. I don't know what brand they are. They look a lot like pruning shears, but this part is metal. This part is it's metal, but it's coated with like a plastic, so it's still very sharp. And instead of like scissors, it applies direct pressure straight down, cutting through the fuse, rather than grinding through your fuse with a pair of scissors or a knife. Like using a knife, you'll have this action. Using something like this, it's a direct, straight down action. But you can see, like this pair I've been using for so long, it's actually, the plastic coating is starting to wear off. But these work really great. You can find these online at certain fireworks stores. I think you can find them at fireworking.com with Ned Gorski. And he sells a bunch of products, but you have to apply for his course for $40. And I think that entails both courses, Fireworking 101 and 201. You'll need some time behind that and some skill. I do believe that all products are available on the site, including the tools you'll need, including stuff like these. And the one he actually uses has a razor blade that mounts inside there, so you can just swap out the razor blade. So it's all about the straight down force in the cut versus possible friction in cutting like this, versus shears that obviously have a grind and could also kind of create a spark. Because with that, what is that? That's fuse. What do they use to make fuse? They use black powder. What do they use to make black powder? Well, they do use iron. Iron and iron. What happens when iron and iron come together in a scraping motion? At times it can create friction. At other times it can create a spark and cause your fuse to go off. And when you're working on a rack like this inside, you don't want your fuses to go off. So that's a couple more tips, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope you can hang in there with a 28-minute long video. This is Pyro Zig. Please like, subscribe, and if any of you guys can, try to copy my link and paste it wherever you see other guys, other fireworking sites or fireworks sites, other channels on YouTube. And if you could do that for me, I'll have more contests coming up soon. Not contests, but more giveaways at Red Apple. I'll go spend a couple $100, and you guys can come up here, go shopping, and get a free item. I do believe there's actually some items still left from the Summer Blast sales event, and there's a new sale coming up soon. I do believe around Labor Day. Talk to you guys later. Like, subscribe, copy and paste my link everywhere you can. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Late.